Welcome to another Fast Tips video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I am your instructor, Richard Rost. In today's class, part 5 of the follow-ups series, we're going to add a button to send a quick follow-up email to whoever you're following up with. I know that's part of my follow-up strategy, right? Follow up and then shoot off an email, whether, hey, thanks for calling me today, or thanks for not being in your office when I tried to get you the 6th time. We'll make a little template table with some common responses, like I just mentioned, and then I'll show you how to send it off with one little click there. Of course, if you haven't watched parts 1 through 4, go watch those first. I'll put links down below you can click on to get started. Okay, our little follow-up database is working nicely. We got our list of follow-ups here. And now let's say I just get off the phone with Gaddy Lee. All right, I give him some congratulations on his latest book about bases. And I want to now send him, shoot him off a quick email that says, thanks for taking my call. Appreciate everything, we talked about, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. Now, I've got other lessons where I show you how to make a button to click to send an email. I got this one you can go watch, which is a little in-depth. It goes over how to send emails via Outlook, and you can add attachments and stuff. But I think today we're going to use the strategy that I cover in this video, which is the follow hyperlink button. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different with it. And that's one of the beauty of these lessons that I put together for Fast Tips is that, I might have shown kind of how to do this before, but now I'm going to put the Legos together slightly differently in a little way so you can see how this works. So watch this video if you want to learn more about following hyperlinks, but we're going to use the email hyperlink to send them a quick, thank you letter or whatever. So 9 times out of 10 when I send a follow-up response, it's just a quick little couple sentences. Thanks for taking my call, whatever. So let's make a little table that's just real simple email templates that are like the top 2 or 3 things that you might want to shoot off as a follow-up email. All right, so we're going to go to Create and then Table Design. We'll call this our email template table. So it'll be email template ID. That's our auto number. All right. We'll have a description, short text, maybe a subject, short text, and then a body, which will be long text. But even though I'm using long text, don't make this really long, right? Because we're going to use a special technique to send this to your email client. So we don't want paragraphs here. We want just a couple sentences. And don't use any real special characters like ampersands or stuff in here. All right, so just keep it straight and simple. Okay? You'll see why in a minute. All right, so let's save this as my email template table. Now, if you want to make this all fancy, you could build a form around this if you want to. I'm not. I've done a million videos on how to do that. We're just going to put some quick data in here in the table. Let's do it. And description is just for you, and then subject and body is what actually is going to get sent to your email program. All right, and I'll make this bigger like that. Okay, so description, thanks for taking call, and then in the subject is what they're going to actually see. Thank you for taking my call today, right? Thanks a lot for taking my call. It was a pleasure speaking to you, blah, 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 whatever else you want to put in there. Okay, and if you want to zoom in, you can Shift F2, zoom in. You can, you can add extra lines in here if you want to, but I'd recommend just keeping it to a simple, very simple paragraph. Okay, what else you got? Invoice attached, right? A copy of your invoice attached. Thanks again for your order. Your invoice is attached. Call me if you have any questions. And then how about one more, like tried calling, right? Tried calling. Whoopsie. Tried calling. Sorry, I missed you today. I tried calling today, but apparently you're too busy and important to take my calls. Bye. No, just get passive aggressive much, right? All right, so we got 3 real simple email templates we can use. All right, now what we're going to do is save changes to that. Yeah. All right, we're on our follow-ups here. We're going to go to the person's follow-up to get their phone number and all the other stuff. I'm going to put a little box right here, a little combo box next to their email address. Okay? And if I want to send them one of those prepackaged templates, I'm just going to drop that box down, pick it, and it'll automatically send the email. We're going to have it load up in your email program so you can edit it more in the email program. Okay? This is just like gives you a starting point. Okay? All right, so right-click, Design View. Make a little bit of room over here. We don't need to see the whole big combo box, just the drop-down part of it. Like I said, same Legos, different way to put them together. All right, give me a combo box. This isn't something I don't think I've shown in one of my other classes. So this is kind of new stuff. Have the combo box look up values from a table or query. We're getting stuff from our email template table. What do you want in here? I just want the ID and the description in the box itself. We're going to sort by description. Next. All right, it's going to look like that. Make that about as wide as you think it needs to be. Okay, good enough. Next. And we're just going to remember this value for later use. We're not actually saving this in the table, so don't do anything more with it there. Next. Label is going to get deleted anyways, and finish. Okay, there's my combo box. Delete this guy. And if you save it now and close it and take a peek at what we got, that's what we get. Oh, hang on, come back here. That's what we got right now. Okay, and we can maybe make this a little bit wider. Let's see. Design view. Let's do the next trick first, and we'll worry about the column width. Okay, now we're going to take this and shrink it down so all we see is the drop-down part of it. All right, a little bit smaller than that, right there. Okay, good enough. Slide that there. Move the email right up kind of next to it, maybe 1 pip away. All right, just like that. See how that looks? All right, save it, close it, open it back up again. Now all you got is this little drop-down sitting there. Click, and you'll still see it when it opens up. All right, a combo box has a couple of different widths associated with it. If you bring up its properties, all right, it has a width, which is that, 0.1667. That's tiny. We made the width of the box tiny. But there's a list width, which is the width of the list when it's open. And then you got your column widths, which is the widths of each column inside the box, which are now set to 0, semicolon. So the first column is the hidden column, right? That ID is hidden. That's 0. And then the next one is 1.3. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's change this to 2. And then we'll also make the list width 2 when it's open. You want this to sum up to that. So if you got 3 columns in here, 2 and 1, you want to have this as 3. And maybe sometimes even a little bit bigger to accommodate a scroll bar if you got a lot of items. But we don't. Okay, so save that. Close it. Close it. Open it back up again. Drop it down. All right, looks a lot better. Okay. Now, when I click on one of these things, I want it to fire up my email program. All right, whatever your email program is. I'm using Gmail, so for me it's going to load up in a browser, but it'll load up in Outlook or whatever your email program is. That's the beauty of the follow hyperlink. Right? The VBA will just open whatever program you have associated with that file type. All right, so let's go into Design View and open up the properties for this guy. And I don't like Combo 30. Let's give it a good name first. Let's call this my email template combo. Okay, and now we're going to put some code in it. So go to Event, and then go to After Update. After I change the value in this box, we're going to do some stuff. What stuff are we going to do? Well, the first thing we have to do is use Dlookup to get those values out of the table that we're going to be using for my email. We need to get the subject, and we need to get the body. If you've never done Dlookup before, go watch this video. Dlookup is probably one of the most important functions you're ever going to use in Access. It's used to get values from another table. And while you're at it, go watch the NZ function. Sometimes the Dlookup function returns a null if something doesn't exist, and that'll generate errors in your code. NZ gets rid of those errors. Now I'm going to look up those values from the table, but I got to have something locally to store them in. So we're going to dim subject as a string and body as a string. That's called dimensioning variables. Again, if you'd never worked with variables, go watch this video. I'll teach you all about it. Now I'm going to check to make sure that there is an email address in the customer form here, right? Otherwise, I'm just going to exit out. If there's no, if you didn't put an email address in here, you can't send the person an email, can you? So we're going to say if is null, email, that's the field, then exit sub. You could do more. You could pop up a message and say, hey, you got to put an email address in first. But just for now, we'll keep it simple. And of course, if you haven't done is null yet, I got a video for that too. I'll put a link down below. Now we're going to go get those fields from the table based on the ID the user selected in the combo box. So we're going to say subject equals Dlookup. What are we looking up? The subject from the email template table, where the email template ID equals whatever is in the combo box. Email template. Come on, email template combo. Okay, and watch when I press enter. Watch what happens to email template combo. Bink, it capitalized. See that? The camel case? They call that camel case because it's got humps, right? Okay, if this didn't capitalize, that would mean I spelled it wrong. It's one of the beauties of VBA not being case sensitive. Okay, now just in case there is no subject, that'll put up an error. So we're going to NZ that guy, null to 0. So if that returns a null, instead give me an empty string. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing for the body. So copy and paste that. Body equals body. Okay, and by the way, that trick doesn't work if it's inside a string. So you got to make sure you capitalize this stuff yourself. But for other variables, yeah. Okay. All right, so I got the subject and body in local variables, right, in memory. Now I can send my hyperlink by saying follow hyperlink. Now to follow a mail hyperlink, an email address, you start it off with mail to : and then the email address. Okay, now if I just stopped here, that would work just fine, but let me save that and let's test it. Okay, let me go over here and close this and close this. Open that up and drop it down, and let's send invoice attached. Click, and it's opening up on my other screen here. Let me move it. And there it is. It opened up in my Gmail in my web browser. It already addressed it to them. I put my signature in there. That's programmed into Gmail. Okay, and here's the subject, and I can put whatever body I want in there. But we want the database to populate the subject and the body as well. Okay, so let me close this. Let's go back to our VBA window. How do we put on the subject and the body? A little more string concatenation here. Ampersand, question mark, subject equals, closure quotes, and whatever is in the subject variable. Okay, that question mark tells your web browser whatever's coming after this are parameters. I'm going to send you something called subject. What is it? It's going to be subject. Save it. Come back in here. Try it again. Thanks for taking my call. And boom, there it goes. Thank you for taking my call today. Same. And now how about the body? And look up here. See, this is the URL line, right? It's got your mail.google.com, and then right here it changed the subject equals into subject equals thank you for taking my call. And this is why you don't use crazy, it puts all the stuff in the query line up here. So you don't want to use ampersands, you don't want to use question marks, you don't want to use funky characters in this because this is a simple technique. If you want to send more robust stuff, I'll give you some links in a minute to better email stuff. But this is just quick, right? Real quick. All right, how do we add the body on there? All right, and now we don't put another question mark in here. The question mark only starts off the parameters. To add another parameter, you have to put an ampersand inside the string. Okay, and body equals and body. And that's it. That's all you need right there. Save it. Close it. And let's tell Getty I tried calling. And there it is. And I've noticed with Gmail, especially if you do specify a body, it doesn't bring your signature lines in. You can add them yourself if you want to, but usually I don't usually populate that. I just want the subject and I type in a few notes myself, but that's me. All right, but this is very simple, just something to, fire off a follow-up email for, invoice attached, and of course you'll attach the invoice, that kind of stuff. So there you have it. That's how to fire off a quick follow-up email in just a couple clicks. And that's it. There's your part 5. Hope you learned some stuff. I want to know if you guys want to see anything else added to this, or if you have ideas for another series, not just follow-ups, but you tell me. What kind of database do you want to see me build? Put that in the comments down below, and I'll gather up all the comments after a week or two, and I'll say, okay, I got 15 people that want to see this. We'll do this. I think I got enough things left to cover for follow-up. One more follow-ups lesson for now. I might do more in the future if you guys drop some ideas on me, but I got a couple things here involving like workdays and stuff that will. Some people want to see how to move a follow-up ahead, but not unless the next day is a work day. So if you're on Friday, for example, and you say move to tomorrow, I want to move it to Monday. So we're going to cover that in part 6. Okay, that's all. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for Access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. Yep, that's all, $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this tech help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.